Welcome to the Inside Education Podcast with host Eddie Kendall, Genesee Intermediate School District's Associate Superintendent.
All right, hello listeners. Welcome back to Inside Education. I'm your host, Eddie Kendall. Today we're talking about how strong relationships help create safe, welcoming school environments. And I'm joined by Ryan Ulshafer, Executive Director of Safety and Security at the GISD, and a few awesome school resource officers. So everybody, welcome to the show. And before we dive in, let's have our SROs that are here today introduce themselves to our listeners.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Nick Brooks. I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 13 years.
Hey, Eddie. Deputy James Bushlana with the Sheriff's Office for 4 years.
I'm Deputy Powell. I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 6 years, and I'm also a K-9 officer.
Awesome. And I already introduced you, Ryan, so no need to grab the microphone. But anyway, thanks to all of you, not just for being here today, but for the work you do each and every day in our schools. But Ryan, we do want to kick it off and start with you. So tell us a little bit about your background. And obviously, I know you bring years of service in law enforcement and public safety into this role at the Genesee Intermediate School District. So tell us a little bit about that, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie, and I appreciate you and all the listeners today. I worked for the Sheriff's Office for about 20 years. I was the first SRO through the Sheriff's Office. I was contracted with the GISD. I spent about 10 years working directly with the Genesee Intermediate School District. Through that time, I really spent a lot of time with the local superintendents. I walked probably over 150 schools here locally within the county, worked with public school administrators, and really built a lot of relationships throughout the county that I still value to this day.
That's outstanding. You got a lot of miles in public service, not only for safety, but I mean, you've got a strong history of strong relationships with a lot of leaders in the school districts in Genesee County. So thanks for that, Ryan. That context is so important. But speaking of building relationships, let's kind of bring our SROs into the conversation. We always shorten that school resource officer, everybody. But you're not only you're not only a visible presence in schools, but also a trusted adult for so many of our students. So Sergeant Brooks, what are some of the ways you move beyond simply being visible to forming real trust with students and staff?
So one of the ways that I find really beneficial for the students is being present in the classroom during the day and interacting with them, whereas it's reading books or playing games with them, something of that nature. And then as far as the staff, definitely answering the call and working alongside them and being a resource for them whenever they have a different question or something that I can help solve.
Absolutely. Appreciate that perspective. Deputy Bushlana?
Yeah, I agree with all of those points and really, not to oversimplify it, but, really be gentle and be present with the people that you serve. Get to know these people, their families, and that's really how we're going to help best serve our community and really find out, what these children are dealing with and what the parents are dealing with, and just making sure that they know that we are there for them.
Deputy Powell?
I would agree with both of my partners. It's really just getting to know the kids, the staff, and just being there as a presence for them.
Absolutely. So just if one of you could kind of paint a picture of what your day-to-day, just a quick summation of your daily work as you walk through a building. Deputy Bushlana?
Sure. First thing I do, honestly, is I want to get my mind right and make sure that I'm in the right mental state, honestly, to serve these kids. And then after that, I walk the halls, right? Good morning. I want to make sure these kids know that I'm there, I'm available to them, and just see how their day went, see what's going on. Talk to administrators, how's the day been going, anything that I need to know about. But it's really just about building that rapport and seeing what's going on with them. And then things just go organically from there.
Awesome. That's also a great perspective. But we all know that safety isn't just the responsibilities of you three officers. So when teachers and staff build positive relationships with students, it can shift the entire school culture. So let's take it in that direction, Brian. How do strong relationships amongst staff, students, and educators help create safer spaces for learning for each and every student in Genesee County?
Yeah, 100%. I think if you really want to increase safety across the board, I don't care if it's a educational facility, a business, etc., you attack culture. And you do that through positive relationships. You have an open door. I know the state of Michigan pushes the okay to say. If you see something, say something. And if they're comfortable to see or to relay that information to an administrator or a teacher, any faculty member, you're just increasing the safety throughout that building that much more.
Right. And I'm not only looking at 3 outstanding school resource officers and obviously our new director of safety and security at the ISD, but I know the 4 of you. Also working in another school district, I know there's some strong collaborations in this county with our local law enforcement community. So let's talk about the collaborations between local school districts, law enforcement, and community organizations. How do these collaborations really support our school safety efforts in the county, Ryan?
It's through collaboration that you first understand what your issues are and how you can best attack those. There's a lot of collaboration between the chiefs of Genesee County, the SROs within Genesee County, both of which groups I attend. They're well attended. The trainings are vast. So when it comes down to collaboration, it's the only way you can successfully attack an issue.
Absolutely. And while we're talking about partnerships, I think it would be wise if we give a big thank you to all of our Genesee County SROs, not just here at the GISD, but your colleagues around the county. Their connections with students are what truly make our schools safe and welcoming. So we appreciate that. So now let's take a look ahead for a moment. If I could just start with you, Ryan, and just hear from our SROs again briefly, as school safety continues to evolve and we're getting ready for a new school year, the 25-26 school years, what new tools or strategies, whether it's technology-based or relationship-based, are the 4 of you kind of excited about for this school year, if any?
Well, to narrow it down, it's going to be very difficult, but the relationships are continuously evolving because personnel changes, students change, so does technology. And at the end of the day, technology is only as good as the user. So if that user's not trained properly, then that technology, can oftentimes fail. So when it's really taking a look at technology and how it's evolving, it's always important to stay ahead of it, because one technological piece might not necessarily makes sense for an entire district or each specific building within a district. So understanding what the demographic is, understanding what threats or issues might arise in that specific building, geographical location, what those issues bring in that location, it can really hone in on what technology-based programs or systems you might need, and then how you can mold the training for your staff and your students around that. Obviously, there's state-mandated trainings throughout that are mandated throughout the state of Michigan that are needed to be conducted yearly. Obviously, we do those as well as every school in the state of Michigan does, but it's important to understand what type of issues might arise, whether it's man-made or natural, and then gear your trainings around those.
Thank you for that perspective. Sergeant Brooks, anything to add to that?
So one of the things that I'm excited to see is AI integrated in with our different safety systems, whether it's an app or software or camera systems, something of that nature that can help improve the safety of the school.
Awesome. So, we've got to be real about this. I remember being a high school student many years ago, but I didn't have access to a school resource officer. But now that we know that not every student is comfortable walking up to a school resource officer or a school staff member for that matter, but what would you want those students to know? And how can we create more open, welcoming pathways for them to reach out? So I'll start with you, Deputy Bouchelon.
Not to bring it back to before, but I think the main thing is to let these kids know that you can trust us, right? We're here for you. We're on your side. We're here to protect you and make sure that you guys have what you
Wonderful.
need. And then it's just going about finding out what they need, right? And making sure that the door's open, and maybe they can't talk to you on that day, but maybe they have a relationship with a teacher or a counselor or another student. It's really about kind of like a village approach right? And we want that information to get to where it needs to go, whether that's the school resource officer, administration, whether that be, we want to have that trust there so that communication occurs. The right hand needs to know what the left is doing.
Well said. Deputy Powell?
I would say I'd want everyone to know, like, this is just a uniform we wear. We are normal people underneath this. I go home and put on what I call normal people clothes, and I'm just like everybody else. It's just one of the masks I wear. And we've all had life experiences that we can relate to a lot of these kids with. And I think that's what makes us a really great group, is all the experience throughout life that we all have and can share those experiences with kids and try to relate to them.
Good. Well said again. So, Ryan, we talked about school safety, but let's bring it back to the students' overall experience. So, in your view, how do positive school culture and a physical safety work together to create a more effective and enjoyable learning environment?
Thanks, Eddie. I think if you really, again, attacking that positive school culture is really going to drastically drive down bullying, increase the test scores, decrease absenteeism, increase the positive throughout the building, and then entirely the district. And when you do that, you inadvertently create a better, safer culture for the school district. So they really, really, absolutely 100% go hand in hand.
Fantastic. Anything to add to that, Sergeant Brooks?
Well, I think that when you have a positive school culture, whether it's with the staff and the students, it just helps to increase that safety because everybody feels more comfortable in bringing any sort of issues to our attention or the administration.
Wow, interesting. So listen, your work focuses so much on supporting and protecting others. And I know that can be intense. And I know the four of you do an outstanding job every day. But before we wrap up, let's go around the table for a quick this or that. This is kind of my dad joke type segment. So when it's time to unwind, are you more likely to do this or that? So let's start with you, Sergeant Brooks. Okay. This or that, cornhole tournament or 5K run?
5K run.
Bench press or dumbbell incline?
Bench press.
Deputy Bouchelin, would you rather read a book or listen to music?
Oh, listen to music.
Country or hip hop?
Pass.
Okay. Deputy Powell, pumpkin spice latte or hot apple cider?
I am totally a PSL girl all the way.
Okay, let me throw this one back to you, Deputy Powell. Barbecue ribs or pulled pork?
Pulled pork, for sure.
Money. I like some barbecue. Mr. Ulshafer, riding a bike or afternoon nap?
Well, having the family size that I do, I don't get a nap often, so I'm going to have to go nap.
Coaching football or coaching basketball?
Oh, coaching football.
Or for any of you, playing some hoops or a picnic in the park?
Definitely playing some hoops.
Okay. Anybody else want to add to that? Don't give me a this or that. But anyway, I want to thank you guys again for being here. That's a wrap for today's episode of Inside Education. And a huge thank you to Ryan Ulshafer, our Executive Director of Safety and Security here at the Genesee Intermediate School District, Sergeant Brooks, Deputy Bouchelin, and Deputy Powell for sharing how strong relationships lay the foundation for safe and welcoming schools. To everyone listening, thanks for joining us. Keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you on the next episode of Inside Education.
Thank you for joining us on Inside Education, a podcast produced by the Genesee Intermediate School District. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to future episodes of Inside Education on our website or on your favorite platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. Stay connected as we explore the stories shaping education in Genesee County and beyond.